A major AEW signing has seemingly been confirmed, but first, Vince McMahon is no longer part of WWE. On Thursday, January 25th, the Wall Street Journal would reveal details of a lawsuit that's been filed against WWE, aka TKO chairman Vince McMahon, with claims of physical and emotional abuse, sexual assault, and sex trafficking being placed against him by former employee Janelle Grant, with there also being alleged involvement from former head of talent relations John Laurinaitis and a quote world-famous athlete and former UFC heavyweight champion that WWE sources claim to be Brock Lesnar. In the wake of this revelation, we now have a major update on the future of McMahon within the TKO organization. Before we get there, however, let's take a look at the events leading up to the decision that was made, as last night a report would surface from WrestleVotes that revealed WWE sponsor Slim Jim had pulled their integration from tonight's Royal Rumble event, and the report notes, hearing rumblings that Slim Jim has notified WWE they are pulling their sponsorship from tomorrow's Royal Rumble event. It's yet to be determined if they will remain partners in the future. Slim Jim would then later release a statement to the media, first reported by Post Wrestling's John Pollock, that confirmed the decision was made in response to the Vince McMahon situation, and the statement reads, Slim Jim values integrity and respect in all our partnerships. Given the recent disturbing allegations against Vince McMahon, at this time we've decided to pause our promotional activities with WWE. This decision reflects our commitment to our brand values and responsibility to our community. We will continue to monitor the situation and base our future engagements on our values and what's best for our brand. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful would then take to X to reveal that another potential major sponsor that was considering working with WWE is now no longer interested, with this growing issue piling pressure on the company to have Vince McMahon removed from his position of executive chairman. As discussed on last night's news video, the only way that McMahon could be removed from his role would be for him to tender his resignation or through death or incapacitation. Essentially, it would require TKO executives to convince Vince to walk away. With that in mind, one of these options became a reality when an email leaked from within the company. WWE President Nick Khan would send out an email to TKO Group staff late last night confirming that Vince McMahon had handed in his resignation and will no longer play a part in the company's future, and this is what the email reads. I wanted to inform you that Vince McMahon has tendered his resignation from his positions as TKO Executive Chairman and on the TKO Board of Directors. He will no longer have a role with TKO Group Holdings or WWE. Despite his decision to walk away from WWE for good, Vince McMahon has issued a public statement insisting his innocence, with him adding that he will now work to clear his name, and the statement issued to Deadline reads, I stand by my prior statement that Ms. Grant's lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene made-up instances that never occurred, and a vindictive distortion of the truth. I intend to vigorously defend myself against these baseless accusations and look forward to clearing my name. However, out of respect for the WWE Universe, the extraordinary TKO business and its board members and shareholders, partners and constituents, and all of the employees and superstars who helped make WWE into the global leader it is today, I have decided to resign from my executive chairmanship and the TKO board of directors, effective immediately. With the news of Vince McMahon's resignation, we now have confirmation from WrestleVotes that Slim Jim have resumed their sponsorship with WWE ahead of tonight's Royal Rumble, and this is what they would report. After yesterday's chaotic day in the events that transpired, I am told Slim Jim is back as the main sponsor for tonight's Royal Rumble PLE, along with future WWE events. Whilst this is the second time that McMahon has resigned as chairman of WWE in the space of 2 years, he no longer has the same power as he did the last time. As Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics explains on X, Vince's super voting power is no more since the TKO merger with UFC was completed last September. His majority voting power of around 80% allowed him to force his return to WWE in early 2022. At last count, he now holds about 12 12% of TKO stock, and therefore just 12% of the vote. This likely means that Vince McMahon is now officially finished in WWE for good, this 42 years after he initially purchased the then WWF from his father in 1982. In terms of how WWE will treat McMahon's legacy going forward, it appears that they will be taking steps to remove as many references to him as possible. It's been reported by PW Insider that WWE have removed a Vince McMahon Royal Rumble 1999 themed t-shirt that was being sold at the Megastore in Tampa this weekend. On top of this, the Mr. McMahon superstar profile has now been taken down from WWE.com, with the page now showing a message stating that it can no longer be accessed. Next up, we have the latest on a scrapped major surprise for tonight's Royal Rumble. As mentioned, Brock Lesnar is another name that found himself caught up in the Vince McMahon controversy, with the lawsuit filed against the former WWE chairman mentioning a man that matches the description of the Beast Incarnate. It was reported by Fightful last night that Lesnar was discussed as a potential surprise in tonight's men's Royal Rumble match, although his implied inclusion in the lawsuit may well have changed those plans. Well, we now have an update on the situation via PW Insider, who have revealed that Brock has not travelled to Florida for the event, and it appears that he's now been replaced, and the report notes, as of this morning, Brock Lesnar has not travelled to Florida for Royal Rumble. The word making the rounds at last night's SmackDown was that Lesnar, who was at one point slated to return for WrestleMania season, would not be at the pay-per-view. The terminology one source used was that Lesnar had been withdrawn from tonight's event, and the belief was that a WWE NXT talent would be used in Lesnar's place tonight. Given that Vince McMahon is no longer with WWE due to recent backlash, it remains to be seen if Brock Lesnar has a future within the organization. And before we get to our final story, be sure to head over to the WrestlePlanet gaming channel after this video, where a new list just dropped covering 17 names that could be removed from the upcoming WWE 2K24 due to their release from the company, their contract coming to an end, or in some cases, reasons much more sinister. And next, a major AEW signing has seemingly been confirmed. Two of the hottest free agents on the market right now are former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada, who is just days away from the expiration of his New Japan Pro-Wrestling contract, as well as Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks in WWE, who is also coming off the back of a run with New Japan, albeit a much shorter one. This week, Wrestling Observer newsletter would provide an update on the status of both wrestlers, with All Elite Wrestling currently the favourites to sign them, and Dave Meltzer would write, regarding Kazuchika Okada and Mercedes Moné, the belief from this side, AEW, is that both will be starting soon. Moné was doing acting work, but there is talk her debut will be played up extremely big and that announcement could be soon. She's been back training to return to the ring. Her coming to AEW was expected for months, even before they showed her at Wembley, but she did negotiate with WWE after, and while they were far apart on money, unless the contract is signed, nothing is a lock. As for Okada, it appears that the Rainmaker still hasn't made a decision as to where his future lies, although there is confidence within AEW that they can secure the signing, and Dave would add, for Okada, the last word was that he had not made his mind up. I know people within AEW range from hopeful to I'd perceive as confident he will be coming. If he was to sign, the likely arrival would be around the Greensboro show, with his final New Japan date on 2/24. If it was WWE, I could see them holding off until WrestleMania. Fightful Select would then also confirm that AEW are confident in signing Okada, but as for Mercedes, they would note that a WWE source has told them that they don't see her competing in tonight's Royal Rumble, adding that the company are, quote, not really interested in contract tampering with her, a major indication that a deal is already in place between the CEO and All Elite Wrestling. Yesterday was in fact Moné's birthday, and she sent out a post on X regarding 2024, and she would say, get ready for an epic ride because 32 is about to unleash a whirlwind of adventure and fun. I am beyond grateful to have another year to chase my dream and conquer new heights. I'm ready to rock this year and shake the table like never before. A similar sentiment was also sent out by AEW president Tony Khan, who stated that 2024 AEW is the next 2021 AEW, a sign he may have an ace or two up his sleeve in the months ahead. And before you go, make sure you check out my predictions for every wrestler that will be removed from WWE 2K24.